There's one scene in The Omen 2, or Damien, that I thought was fabulous, and I loved it. The rest of the film, not so much. This was released in 1978, directed by Don Taylor and Mike Hodges. This is, of course, a sequel to The Omen, and I really like The Omen. I think it's a really good film, and I was really looking forward to this, and I was just hoping for something creepy, eerie, better than, well, maybe not better than the first thing, but at least matching it. But honestly, it just wasn't very good at all. I will say the casting is very good, particularly of Damien, played by Jonathan Scott Taylor. I thought he gave a fantastic performance, and at times he was an eerie character, but he doesn't have that eeriness that the young child Damien does. And he's a little bit older now, quite a bit older, and he is he's starting to learn the truth about himself and really embraces it. But I feel like the development of the narrative wasn't very good. It was very slow, and once it got going, the things that happened sometimes weren't very interesting, occasionally were, but generally felt forced. It didn't feel like a very organic narrative progression. So the things that were happening weren't that interesting, and how we got to those points wasn't that good either. And I feel like the scary moments, and I put that in quotes, none of it was particularly scary, apart from one bit, which I'll talk about in a moment. I feel like they just weren't very intense, they weren't atmospheric. The music tried really hard to create this eerie atmosphere, and I feel like maybe if I'd been in a cinema where the music in the sounds in cinemas are always ridiculously loud, it might have been intense, but me watching it on my laptop on Disney Plus, not getting that kind of vibe. So the acting was very good. The acting across the board was very good, but the film itself was just a bit of a disappointment. And I don't really have too many thoughts. There was a scene with a bird. I won't say exactly what happens, but I thought that was pretty good. Not necessarily scary, but well shot. And there is one bit that I found to be quite scary, but it didn't really feel like something that I would have expected to see in The Omen. And I guess this is the last thing I have to say about it. The fact that I don't have a whole list of points to mention kind of suggests that it's not a bad film in the sense that it was, you know, badly written or anything. There are some decent moments in it, but the pacing, as I said, the pacing was a bit of a problem. It was very slow, but I didn't find it offensive. I wasn't annoyed by it. It was just boring. It was just bland. Apart from this one bit, so spoiler from now, I'm going to discuss this moment. And the bit that I truly, truly adored was the bit with the elevator. It reminded me of a kind of Final Destination thing where they're just plummeting down, and it just was terrifying. And then I honestly don't think he would have survived that. I feel like the impact would have shattered a lot of the bones in his body. But nevertheless, that gave us the glorious scene with the cable. That, as I said, this is a spoiler, the glorious scene when the cable just slices straight through him. And the special effects there for 1978, I thought were quite impressive. So that was pretty good. That is my highlight of Damien Omen 2. I'm not sure if it's called Damien Omen 2 or Omen 2 Damien. I've seen it written both ways depending on what site I'm on. On Disney Plus, I have closed down that tab, so I can't tell you what it's called on there. But yeah, it's not a great film, but it had a couple of good moments. But certainly, I know it's not fair to say it didn't live up to the first film because sequels rarely do. Occasionally they will, most don't. But I feel like it wasn't in the same league. It's kind of a fun watch in a way because I love watching horrors that are no longer horrors because of how things have moved on. Things that would have been scary once upon a time maybe aren't as scary now because of advances in cinematography and things. So in a way it was kind of a fun watch. Some of the scary bits were kind of entertaining, but for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'd say watch it if you've seen the first Omen film because there might be bits in it you like, and you can at least tick it off a list. Said you've seen it, but I definitely, other than maybe the elevator scene, I won't be watching it again.